Farhana.
Hi, my name is Anita. Now let's get into introduction part.
NeoRealism, or also known as structural realism, is a theory of international relations that says power is the most important factor in international relations. It was first outlined by Kenneth Waltz in his book Theory of International Politics in 1960. Neorealism emerged from the North American discipline of political science and reformulated the classical realist tradition of E. H. Carr, Hans Morgenthau, and Reinhold Niebuhr. Structural realism holds that the nature of international structure is defined by its ordering principle, anarchy, and by the distribution of capabilities. The anarchy ordering principle of the international structure is decentralized, meaning there is no formal central authority. Every sovereign state is formally equal in the system. States are assumed at a minimum to ensure their own survival, to pursue other goals. This driving force of survival is the prime factor influencing their behavior, and in turn ensures states develop offensive military capabilities for foreign interventionism. The positional placement of state in terms of abilities determine the distribution of capabilities. It then limits cooperation among states through fears of relative gain by made other states and the possibility dependence on other states. The desire and relative abilities of each state to maximize relative power constrain each other, resulting in a balance of power which shapes international relations. Neorealists contend that there are essentially three possible systems according to changes in the distribution of capabilities defined by the number of great power within the international system. There are unipolar system, bipolar system, and multipolar system. Neorealists conclude that bipolar system is more stable than a multipolar system because balancing can only occur through internal balancing, as there are no extra great power to form alliance. The structural realism has become divided into two branches, defensive realism and offensive realism. Both branches agree that the structure of the system is what causes states to compete. Defensive realism posits that most states concentrate on maintaining their security, while offensive realism claims that all states seek to gain as much power as possible.
Watts claimed that the current international system is an anarchic environment without any central power regulating and coordinating affairs among the states. It is not human nature but rather systemic nature which is defined as international politics. In the anarchic international politics, there is no authority to impose the rules of the world. Anarchy of the international system is an order itself. According to Watts, power is the key concept of international politics. We live in the anarchy world where the state seeks to maximize their power relative to others for their survival. Power is the central understanding relation among the states. To boost up their power, the state build up their arsenal, boost up their economy, and also develop their science and society. It is concern of security and development. It is in concern of competition with another state. Military and economic might be the major criteria for security and development, and all of achievement of those criteria will be done by all possible means. Wars is inevitable in this theory. The power the state have, the higher position they have, the highest chance of survival they have. For example, right now, the United States have the largest and biggest powers in the world. So they have the higher position and they have the highest chance to survive in this world. According to which, NeoRealism theory focuses more on survival than the quality of life. The theory focuses on survival, which are life or death, national existence and national extinction, rather than the good life within the border of the state. They prompt the development into the first place rather than the absence of the ethics. This shows that they really focus more on the structure of the survival. According to Waltz, he stressed that the difficulty to predicting what states will do on the basis of their desire to stay alive and survive. Because of anarchy, there is no definite outcome. Because of that, it's difficult to the problem of knowing to act rationally on the first place. Because of the desire and cannot act rationally, the state might expose to the risk of war, destruction and ultimately the death. For example, the Chinese use the force in Tibet has all beyond the responsibility to protect. Another example is the US invasion in 2004 in Iraq has resulting the suffering of civilians in the state. All of this happen because of absence of morality and also the chance of survival of each state.
Each state is in pursuit of their own personal gain. Their action on the international area depends on their individual interests. In order to achieve their personal interests, the state may create alliance with another state. Even though the state has created an alliance with another state, each state are still interested to their own national interests. The state will do anything to achieve their national interests. For example, the states want to achieve their personal interests of security and development of the state. After the World War II ended, because of Nagasaki and Hiroshima atomic bomb by United States, Japanese surrendered and subjected 7 years of military occupation by United. During this, US helped rebuild the country, share the technology, and carry out the widespread of political and economic reform that helped to transform Japan. Because of the help and relation, a new alliance has created, which is the Military Alliance Treaty, that is an exchange of technology and culture-produced alliance. This alliance helped Japan to improve their technology development. Rational actors means that are capable of making informed decisions when faced with choice. Meanwhile, unitary actors means that want to maximize their chance of survival and minimize the chance against survival and capable of making strategy. For every state, survival is the ultimate goal, and state will always look for chance to maximize their powers. The state have right to cooperate for mutual benefits as they make economic, diplomatic, and military. Sometimes the state may miscalculate and make some severe errors, but they possess military capability and can make a decision to stay attack other states or negotiate and cooperate with other states. If states has the change, they will attack in order to use their advantage. Applied to the current situation at the international level, with China becoming increasingly a global power in its own rights. China has been the fastest growing economy and it's known as largest world economy. China will take advantage of its rapid rise as well as its increasing military strength to threaten its neighboring countries.
The Belt and Road Initiative, also known as One Belt and One Road Initiative (OBOR), is a development strategy proposed by Chinese government for focus on connectivity and cooperation between Russian countries. It is short for the Silk Road Economic Belt and the 21st Maritime Silk Road. Focus. The belt referring broadly to China's historical trade partners in the Eurasian mainland within China's latitude or offland, and the road to coastal developing countries in Southeast Asia and across the Indian Ocean rim or maritime. In 2018, there are 71 countries that are involved in this initiative, starting from Southeast Asia to Eastern Europe and Africa. OBOR become the world concern because it is a form of economic imperialism that gives China too much leverage over other countries, often that those are smaller and poorer. Some countries worry that expanded Chinese commercial presence around the world will eventually lead to military presence. If you guys want to know, China has established its first overseas military base in Djibouti. China base in Djibouti could potentially fulfill a role not only used for economic but also for military. Based on realist assumption, China will make sure that there are no states that can threaten them. That is why China established economic power through OBOR, where they can control other countries through debt. If BRI is successful, China will profit and proliferate their military power even more.
Another example of application of NeoRealism theory is the issue occurred between United States of America towards the China and Vietnam. As what Anita had said earlier, that China applied the NeoRealism theory aimed for expand its power on another neighboring states in Southeast Asia. But for America, they applied for neorealism theory upon Vietnam just to control the expanding power of China. As we know, both America and China are the great power of states. So, America afraid that China will dominate the world as China had started the steps on operating mega oil drilling platform through the Vietnam's exclusive economic zone. As China had attacked its weaker neighbor country, which is Vietnam, and treated other island claimants in Southeast Asia. From the American perspective, the way China has been maximizing its power and influence the area results in the imbalance of shared power in the current political system. Yes, seeing it as a chance to have a real impact in the area, USA takes steps to partially ease the ban on lethal weapons to its past enemy, which is Vietnam. So, we can see how American takes the chances just to influence other states of Southeast Asia. The presence of American weaponry in the dispute sea will put the pressure on China's expansion dream and stop it in the short term. Other announcements and diplomatic supports from US for Vietnam are highly welcomed by other Pacifics as it is a positive move in gaining regional stability and maintaining the current political system. If America does not lift some of their weapons towards Vietnam, so for surely Vietnam will easily be attacked by Republic of China.
So, as conclusion, neorealism and its balance of power theory helps to explain the diplomatic and military move of big power states such as China and United States. Nevertheless, what neorealists possibly fail to see is the domestic politics of each country. The domestic politics and internal force of each state have a real effect on how it acts on global affairs.